the Denver Nuggets were up 20 at home, cruising into the Western Conference Finals until the Timberwolves took over in the third and fourth quarter. Craig, huge win for the Timberwolves. Was this more about a great comeback win or a Nuggets collapse?
Well, look, I always give credit to the guys that make plays, because if you don't make plays, then we're not having this conversation. So the credit goes first to Minnesota for not just disappearing in the second half after being down 20 and looked like they were going to get run out of the building. I think they scored, 38 first half points, right? They looked like they weren't ready to play. And I think Denver kind of fell into a trap. And that was, this is easy. We got 24 minutes to go. We got a 20-point lead. Their offense stinks right now. They're all discombobulated. And then, like the New York Knicks didn't choke. The New York Knicks were shorthanded, and they fought tooth and nail and unfortunately lost to a healthier team that couldn't miss. The Denver Nuggets choked. That, by definition, is a choke job. When you're the defending champs, you are at home, and you have a 20-point lead in the second half. There's no other word for it other than, choke. And I got to be honest, I like it. And here's why. The Timberwolves are a very likable team with a very likable superstar, obviously, in Anthony Edwards. The Denver Nuggets aren't likable anymore. They seemed likable last year en route to their first legitimate NBA championship in forever. But then sometimes success goes to your head. Jamal Murray became unlikable and a big crybaby. It doesn't seem like Jokic cares half the time. And now he gets to go home and ride his ponies and go clubbing without having to worry about going to a parade. But this is a choke job of epic proportions, Tim Hardaway Sr.
No, I disagree with you. This is not a
be
choke
wrong.
job.
It's okay. It's Monday.
This is not a choke job. I give all the credit to Minnesota. They came out and played hard. They played gritty. They played with a lot of confidence. If you heard Anthony Edwards all game long, he said, hey, we're going to win this game.
Yeah.
When they double team me, y'all get out Conlon and McDaniels, y'all get ready to shoot the ball, because when y'all make shots, it's going to open up the lane for me, and it's going to get me to create and make plays for my team. And so, but you know what happened in the third quarter? In the third quarter, Minnesota started playing better defense.
Okay.
They started contesting shots. They was up in the Murray.
Can I just ask you an obvious question?
Wait a second. They was up in the Murray, and they was up into Jokic.
Okay.
And they made it hard and difficult for them to make shots when earlier it was easy in the first half. So in the second, and they get, and what makes Minnesota so tough, when they cause you to turn the ball over and they get open in the open court and they get to start feeling themselves and making threes and making shots, that's what fuel their defense.
It becomes contagious on both sides. I totally get that. I'm willing to make the argument now, and this is to be totally fair. This is Monday morning quarterbacking at its worst. I mean, I'll take that 100%. But when you compare the two rosters and you compare how they play, and obviously you give a lot of credit to Denver being defending champs, you don't take that away from them, trying to repeat. Can't the argument be made that this isn't that big an upset? That player for player, the Minnesota Timberwolves are actually a better team?
Well,
is that a fair argument?
It's fair to say that. Just because they were the defending champs, you want to give them credit for that.
And they get grace for that, for sure.
They look fatigued. I'll say that Denver looked a step slow on everything. All their rotations were late, getting corner crashes for offensive rebound, turning and looking at Karl Anthony Towns dunk at a big moment. Like all the small things that happen when you get tired, the little small things, you can see it creep in. The three players combined for 16 points, Porter, Gordon, and KCP. You need more out of those
and how
guys.
about this, Eddie? How about a team that we all recognize, a dominant home basketball team? Last year, of course, and that's how they win the championship. This year, a dominant home team. I think with Oklahoma City, they had the two best home records in the Western Conference all year. So the thought was, all right, we're going to be fine. Game 7's in our building. But how about this notion? They lost Game 1. They lost Game 2, and they lost Game 7. They lost 3 games on their own home court.
Yes, they did. But I tell you this, I always say this, be careful of Game 7. You may not know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, both home teams lost Game 7 yesterday.
And yesterday with the New York Knicks.
Yeah, but we were hurt.
No, I'm not even talking about that.
Banged up.
I'm not talking about
hurt.
that.
We're banged up.
You never know what's going to happen. They shot 70%.
Which is so frustrating as a fan to watch.
That's what I say, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's why anything can happen in Game 7. They so happen to shoot 70%.
Don't remind
and that's
me,
what happens.
please.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way,
and then the Nuggets. The Nuggets,
Yeah.
like you said, they got comfortable a little bit
They
at
did.
home.
Yep.
They got comfortable a little bit. They thought the crowd was gonna egg them on and give them a lot of energy. Game 7.
I also think
them young guys came in and said, "Forget you." And and at the end, you actually the last 10, 12 minutes, you actually heard more Minnesota fans than you heard Denver fans.
I'll say this. Look, I think, and I'm making this up just based on watching the game, I got the sense coming out of halftime that Denver thought the game was over. That Minnesota didn't have that obvious NBA run.
You saw it in the third. You saw it in the third quarter, not coming out of halftime. You saw it like the 9-8 minute mark. Denver, when they got up 15, you saw them saying, "Okay, we could release off the gas a little bit and let's cruise to this."
I don't think I really seen that. I just seen a team that was just more determined.
Yeah,
and they seemed fresh.
Mm-hmm.
They seemed to have the livelier legs. They were making all the right decisions. They didn't quit. And to me, it's more about the Minnesota Timberwolves giving them credit than saying that the Denver Nuggets choked. I got to say, there is no safe lead in the NBA nowadays.
No, right.
Especially going to have.
I'll give you a point. So, and Tim will agree with this because I'm not making this up. I was texting yesterday with Tim and with Plaxico, Burris, right? And I said, look, the Knicks are going to make a run because Plax was giving me heat. I didn't want to hear it. And Tim goes, every team makes a run.
Right.
Totally dismissed me on one text. But what we didn't see last night was Denver answer the Minnesota run, especially in that third quarter. Look, when you're up by 20, right, and you lose by 8, do the math. You got waxed in the second half by damn near 30 points.
It was about the Timberwolves defense because what Naz Reid and Karl-Anthony Towns is not the most liked player in the league, but he showed up yesterday. What Naz Reid and Karl-Anthony Towns did to Jokic, I haven't seen done to Jokic in quite some time. And Anthony Edwards took on the challenge of covering Jamal Murray. And what they did is they cut off sort of like the two sort of engines of offense for the Denver Nuggets, and they just could not score.
Well,
and they looked really
You know what they
uncomfortable.
also did? They also made the other guys make plays. And the other guys for the Denver Nuggets,
did not
KCP, you got Gordon, you got Reggie Jackson coming off the bench, even Bron. They didn't make no key plays for their team.
I do have, for those of you that didn't get to see the game because you work and you had to go to bed early and you figured the game was over at halftime, I had the team upstairs put together just a video recap of what took place in the game. So here you go. Here you go.
Good.
Not the
Is that legal?
That was
that
like one of my fetish videos at the start of it, to be honest. But,
Again, I don't think they need to review that.
And what's amazing is that none of these fouls were called. None of them were called. I saw the NBA 2-minute drill, and they said, no, these are all legal plays, every single one of them. Listen, we always say, let the players play.
Playoff basketball.
Let the players play. Hey there, thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.